The Nigerian Football Federation has set up a fact-finding committee. The panel will examine the poor performance of the country's national teams in international competitions. A key focus is the Super Falcons' failure to qualify for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. The Falcons were eliminated at the quarter-final stage of the Women's African Cup of Nations, WAFCON. They then lost 2-1 to South Africa in the African playoff. This is the first time in about 10 years that Nigeria will miss the Women's World Cup since the tournament began in 1991. The Super Eagles also failed to qualify for the 2026 Men's World Cup. So there are many commentators who are saying that, in fact, the NFF, Nigerian Football Federation, is in need of urgent reform. There is an advocacy and reforms initiative and pushing that the election scheduled for September 21 should not take place. That advocacy group is also saying that all the processes have been skewed to favor the incumbent NFF president, Ibrahim Gusau. Mr. Chief Odegbami, Chief Segun Odegbami, also issued a statement saying we have to solve the problem in the House of Football first before anything else happens. And there are people who are saying that now that the Super Falcons are beginning to look like the Super Eagles, fumbling and wobbling, that in fact the coach must go and that team was re-engineered, particularly with the woeful performance that they came back with from WAFCON. I included that program, that topic because of Prof. So, Mr. Lookman, please don't be annoyed. Let me go back to him.
Yes, the call is in order. I mean, you want to become a chairperson of NFF. What is the state of football in the country? What has the state of football been since the period you have been the chairperson of NFF? So the concerns by Segun Odegbami and everybody else is in order. Let us try and see how we put the House of Football in order first before we start talking about who occupies which position. Is in order. But coming to the performance of the Super Falcons, I think small mistakes cause them, put them where they are now. There needs to be a bit more sense in the way they approach these matches. So from the coach may have to go. I think we need a coach that will be sharper than is it Madugu?
Madugu.
Yes,
Madugu.
The current coach. For instance, you saw the way they lost to Cameroon. It was a set piece, a free kick. When they arranged the wall behind the keeper, I knew Cameroon was going to score. There was a gaping hole to the right of the keeper. The wall ought to have been at that place where the keeper is in the middle. So that there's no way the lady would have scored. And the keeper tried. Even though she was in the middle, she was still able to dive and almost punch the ball out. But she was too far. The keeper made a mistake, and I don't know how nobody else saw it. But we who were watching, we saw that hole. And that was it. And they had many chances upon chances they did. Now, which I'm talking about senses, having sense. When you play the ball to the keeper will catch it. You try and put it to the end. They were just kicking with the hope that they will still come back, they will have another chance. When you have one, ensure you utilize that one. So you need a coach who will be able to bring out the best. The players themselves, they generally did well in all the matches. It's just small mistakes. So you need that sharpness. And of course, we know also that the Super Eagles didn't also go to the World Cup, which is the first time in history since 1994 when the Super Eagles began to go to the World Cup, when we will not go twice in a row. All of those things need to be sorted out. And also going further, while we are trying to say, let's see how we sort out these things. Why has it not been possible to resolve this problem of payment of allowances? In the comments online, people are saying, look, they didn't even have practice that with commitment, because the issue of payment of bonuses and all that was hanging when the competition started. We only relied on our experience and our previous performance to say that, no, we have always had this, we'll get through. So while solutions are being found or investigations are being made regarding why the Super Falcons performed so woefully and the Super Eagles didn't go to World Cup, that is a question that needs to be answered. How do we resolve this issue that is even embarrassing? That 2 years' time you have the competition and you are not prepared when it is just on the eve. People start running a task and they say the money is not paid and then the morale is low. All of these things are things I think they should address so that football can come alive again.
Okay,
Can
Prof.
I say something?
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
I'm not a football aficionado, but I think I read it somewhere and I thought it was interesting that we tend to focus on NFF and people don't talk as much about the National Sports Commission. And the National Sports Commission is responsible for sports policy formulation, strategic economic planning for Nigerian sports, and acts as a supervisory body over bodies like the NFF. So and I think for a while, the person in charge of the commission was just there, like being renewed term after term, and nobody really paid attention. So maybe that's where we should turn our attention in what the commission does and how it's structured.
Okay, let me jump to this next topic, and I'll give it to Mr. Lookman. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has authorized 20 universities to begin processes for industrial action. The decision follows what the union describes as a failure of the federal government and state governments to implement the 2025 federal government ASU agreement. Affected branches are directed to first issue a 14-day ultimatum before proceeding on strike. The universities include institutions in Nasarawa, Niger, Ondo, Gombe, Edo, and Taraba states, among others. ASU President Christopher Piwuna says an emergency National Executive Council meeting will be held at the end of August or early September to take further decisions. The union also decries the non-payment of the outstanding balance of lecturers' withheld salaries from the 2022 nationwide strike. Mr. Logan, if you can start with that, and then we give 1 minute to Professor Awurawo on it.
Thank you very much. During the 2022 industrial action that Dr. Ngige rushed to the National Industrial Court, asking the court to interpret the no work, no pay, I commented and I advised the government, yes, you may have the provisions of the Trade Disputes Act that gives you power of this no work, no pay. But what about the effect of this misdemeanor, let me put it that way, on the academic profile of the country? Many lecturers have left this country. Many are threatening to go. And in this wonderful studio, you hosted the Minister of Education, who brilliantly addressed how major stakeholders were brought together and that now the federal government was ready to implement. So now is that implementation. And that is the problem in this country. You know, we just spoke about the Falcons and their performance. When promises are made and they are not kept, then how do you expect excellence? And it's such a worrisome situation. And I hope that someday leadership will be able to walk the talk, like we say in public relations. Many promises. You have reviewed the agreements. This is an agreement that has its foundation in around 2009 or so. So where are we heading for? Is education any important to us? And I keep saying it. Maybe we just advise. And how much is ASU asking for? Maybe we just cancel the president, particularly having said he's interested in empowering the citizens in this country. Maybe they should stop giving the governors, because even till now, sir, the minimum wage of 2024, some states are yet to implement it. And divert this fuel subsidy removal to empowering the academic structure. It's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing.
You are an interested party again in this subject. Very briefly.
Yes, there is a whole lot that is supposed to be paid by government that has not been paid. And these 20 universities they were talking about,
the state universities.
Yes, state universities. Some
who were also party to the agreement.
Yes, yes. The states haven't, as usual, they don't want to, implement what what the federal government has signed with ASU. It's a problem. Even last week on strike, some are already on strike. for this. We urge the governors to quickly do something, measure up to the federal government and pay. And then the federal government itself has a few universities, so also among them. University of Agriculture, they didn't pay. They said maybe whether they forgot or something. That, that they could categorize them under agriculture and whatever. So I think government should be able to quickly respond to that and then sort it out. So I also urge governors to also do same, so that we can have stability in the education sector.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Thank you, Okoyemi Ademola, and thank you, Mr. Jide Ologo.